Welcome to Drivecast. This is G from Native Speakers Academy. Drivecast is when you podcast or broadcast while driving. Because when you're driving alone, it's one of those boring activities. It's tedium. I mean, you can learn to drive in about 10 hours. And after that point, technology has brought us to the point or position where if you have an automatic car like I do with my Citroen C4 Grand, then you basically have your foot on one pedal, one hand on the wheel. You've even got cruise control, which I don't really understand why they put it on these cars, because I always find the need to either speed up or slow down at some point. And whenever I've tried cruise control, every time I go around a corner, I feel like I'm losing control of the car, so I don't even bother with that. Anyway, in previous series, I always have a problem with that word. I think it's series is the pronunciation, although I think the spelling stays the same. In previous collections of audio and video casts, like Wanderlust of Thought, I just let my mind go wherever it wanted. I talked about, my God, in this country, as you drive down the road, you just see the most bizarre things. This is central Slovakia, by the way. Welcome to central Slovakia, the heart of Europe. It's a lovely place. Full of forests, bears, and very wild people. And there's always, it doesn't matter where you go in this country, there are always people walking through the middle of nowhere. And I don't mean just hikers or some insane people training for the local Spartan or Ironman race. There's people who are just like dressed in their home clothes or their chill out clothes or whatever, that's just walking down the side of the road, or even crossing the road where there's no crossing, where there's no gate, or even walking through the middle of a field. It's insane. And what you get when you live in Slovakia, what you get when you live here, is a piece of history. That's what you get when you live here. You get a piece of history. You get a country which is trying so hard to catch up with everybody else. But with all the classic hangovers from communism that every Eastern European bloc country has. The illusion of democracy, the misrepresentation of capitalism, the abuse of the Republican principles and the inbred, inbuilt, and in-house corruption that's so deep and so broad and so wide that no one can do anything about it at all. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I'm trying to think of an example. An example would be any big international company that comes here to this country and tries to set up its system of organization here in exactly the same way that it has grown organically and logically somewhere else. And the truth is that each country and each culture is slightly different, and what maybe works somewhere else is definitely not going to work here. I'm sorry to be the one to have to break this to you, but it's just not. Anyone who wants to tell you the truth about big business in this country will tell you it's corruption with a capital C and a giant ruption. Everything internally is broken. Everybody's making money on the side. You look at the directors of big international organizations and look at the kinds of cars that they're buying and look at the salary they get paid and look at how much money the company is making. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to realize that 2 and 2 don't make 5. There's something wrong, and it needs somebody to say that. You need someone to stand up and speak out and say, like, there's something wrong. And what you get when you stand up and say, oh, there's something wrong, is that people respond, well, it's normal. As if normal is good or normal is okay. Now, the great thing about language is that you can break down these ideas into their fundamental principles. Look, it is normal. Normal is an adjective. It is good. Good is an adjective. These words are different. They got different meanings. They're not the same thing. So imagine in your mind a line down the middle, and on one side you've got normal, and on the other side you've got good. That's basically how it works. They're not the same thing. People call bad things normal because they can't deal with the fact that they're bad. And the there in my statement refers to both the activity and the person. As if doing bad things is justified because everyone's doing it. Everybody does it. What are you talking about? As the Slovaks say, čo si? Čo? A ti nerozumiem. Which is the Slovak's way of saying, what the fuck? Are you okay? You know, and it's ingrained in society. It's ingrained in the culture, whether it's handing over little envelopes of money to doctors or it's your uncle's company that you employ to clean the windows of your organization, or it's the Euro funds because if we give people money, they'll change what they do. No, it doesn't work here. You give people money and they take the money. I mean, what is the Slovak way of doing business? It's basically, give me money, fuck you. Or sometimes fuck you, give me money, depending upon your perspective on how it works. It really is. The people have no problem promising the earth and delivering emptiness. It's a little game, it's a little mental game for them. How much can I make and how little do I have to give back? So it just doesn't work. The grant system, the sponsorship system, the bursary system, the fund system, it just doesn't work. Because whereas in the more developed countries there's a certain morality, it's a country of contradictions. I mean, never have there been so many churches built in one place, and yet there's a culture that doesn't really adhere to any basic ethical or moral system. And most companies don't even worry about their product being good or great, because most of the big companies survive on government contracts, and getting a government contract is just all bribery and backhanders and little holidays and discounts here and there, and making sure that you're taking care of the people who are taking care of you. One of my clients told me, and this client was on the inside, that at least a minimum of 5%, and these are official numbers, a minimum of 5% of the crime in the country is actually carried out by the police. So 5% doesn't sound a lot, but if you realize that's 1 in every 20 crimes. 20 criminal activities, official criminal activities, officially reported and registered and counted, and where all data is collected, because half of all crimes are not reported because you can't report it because this business is already illegal, which is why there are still so many muscleheads out here, because they get money by leaning on people and threatening to crack heads open if something doesn't slide their way. I've never seen so many people with no necks. It's not a criticism, it's just an observation. Huge people driving huge vehicles. You know what the person looks like from just looking at the kinds of vehicle that they drive, I suppose. I've never seen so many expensive BMWs, Audis and Mercedes, not to mention the Jaguars and Ferraris. The Maseratis and the Lotuses as well. Do they still make cars? It's a country of great contradictions. It's a country of no rules, still, to a certain extent. Are you passing me on the inside? You are, aren't you? The car passing me on the inside. And now we have someone going extra slow. We have a porta potty in the middle of the road. Never a dull moment. Is the situation going to improve? Nothing can improve until you tell the truth, and the organization that's supposed to keep tabs, keep control of the truth, of course, is the church. And as they recently just persecuted one of their own priests for revealing the truth, I can't imagine that the church is going to be that responsible. They're also not that organized. Considering the large number of people that go to church, the fact they have their own political party, and the fact they can't get anyone to vote for them, has got to be a sign of the complete insanity that exists. The mentality is kind of retrograde or something like that, because I was at the aqua park, the local aqua park, with my kids during the summer, and I think more than half of the people on the slides were adult males. Slides for kids, but it was adult males who were going down the slides. And this is... Yes, adults need to have their fun. But I suppose it's just an observation. It's just another observation. And whoever built this system of roads around here, oh dear. Right. Thank you very much for tuning in and not tuning out. This was a drive cast. There will be more drive casts to fill my time as I commute between home and the office. Right now, it's off to the supermarket to pick up some things, some food, to take to the office so that I don't starve. Funny how in the modern culture we all buy food, and although we usually still have some. We all eat too much. We all spend too much. There's a man taking off his jeans in front of me. Bizarre. Whew. Well, welcome to Slovakia.